A well-designed web funnel is a really great way to generate thousands, tens of thousands, even millions of dollars into any business type. And when you have a really solid web funnel, that is going to be one of the gold mines for you and your business. So today, what I want to do is I want to break down 4 of my favorite web funnel types and detail which one is going to be best for you and your agency, depending on your niche and your ad budget, and give you some ideas on what you can test when it comes to web funnels. Now, we can always make calculated assumptions or estimations as to what's going to work, but we will never know for sure until we have hard data. And the only way we get hard data about our web funnels is to actually bring traffic. So this is going to work in tandem with the lessons that we talk about with Meta or anything about targeted ads or social media content, because web funnels are a landing page where we're asking the visitors to take one particular action. And in this case, we're talking about 4 different types of web funnels. We're going to be talking about a webinar web funnel, a booked appointment, a lead magnet, and one web funnel called a low ticket Ascension web funnel. That's going to be the last one we talk about. It's a little bit more advanced, but it's one of my favorite web funnels. So I want to really kind of tackle what is the point of a web funnel? Why should I have a web funnel as opposed to just like a website? Well, a web funnel just this, right? It funnels people with a particular call to action and gets them to commit to one particular call to action. So let's say, for example, you see an ad on Facebook and it's something like, let me think of a good example. I don't know, maybe a hair loss product, right? If you're balding and you want to solve your balding hair issue, you might see an issue, or you might see an ad that talks about that issue, and then you come to their site. You click the ad, you go to the site, right? Well, that particular web funnel is going to talk all about the problems of being bald and how you can fix it. It's all calculated to make you do one particular action. Where a website comes into play, it's a little bit more of a catch-all. A website is going to be more focused for SEO and more is a sales representation of who your business is. A web funnel is having them do a particular thing. So that's our goal here with a web funnel. I'm going to give you 4 examples of these web funnels and break down why you would want to consider using these web funnels for you and your travel agency. So to give you a little bit of context, my name is Will. I am the owner of the Travel Agents Academy and one of the co-owners here. And what we do here on this channel is we like to help travel agents learn ways that they can grow their business so that they can have 6-figure, 7-figure, even 8-figure annual commission rates. Now, we don't know your particular situation, so this is not a money back guarantee or a money guarantee video or anything like that. The whole purpose of this video is to help you learn more about how you can actually generate results for you and your business. Okay, give yourself some opportunities. We want to teach you how to fish. So with that said, I'm going to start with one of my very first funnels here, and this is a lead magnet funnel. And with a lead magnet funnel, you are actually taking a particular pain point and creating a lead magnet. If you don't know what a lead magnet is, it's essentially just a piece of content that you've created. It could be a series of videos, a singular video, it could be a checklist, or it could be a document. And what you're doing is you're marketing that document to an audience that doesn't know you, and you're giving that to them in exchange for their email. And in this particular example, what I did is I actually wanted to focus in on Japan. I actually had just gotten back from Japan and I wanted to sell more Japan. And I want to test how a lead magnet funnel could do really well. Now, this lead magnet funnel is really great if you only have about $5 a day to spend towards marketing, because what this is going to do is it's going to help you build out your email newsletter, your email campaigns, right? Build out your total contact list so you can do more email marketing. You're more than likely not going to have a booked appointment from these lead magnet campaigns, but you can still push that. So let me break all of this down, starting with the lead magnet itself. So as you can see, my lead magnet is 15 rookie mistakes to avoid in Japan and what to do instead. It's a free guide on how to prepare for a trip to Japan. And all I ask them to do is I ask them to click this button, fill out their contact information, and then we immediately send them this lead magnet. And I break down what they're going to get inside of this lead magnet, this Japan guide. And I give them a little bit more of a social proof as to who we are and how we're able to help these individuals. And I give them even more about who our travel agency is and how we actually help people and how we've been in business for over 100 years. And I've also have a call to action for them to get a free consultation about traveling to Japan. But my first thing that I want them to do, the first action that I want them to do before leaving this funnel is I want them to grab the lead magnet itself. Now, this might sound I don't know, maybe not necessarily as helpful in the short term, because it's not going to be as helpful in the short term, because this is a long-term play. You're essentially spending a little bit of money, very, very little money a day to build out a email list that you can continue to market towards. And over time, if you did this every single day, you would have a lead list inside of your business that you can market day in, day out. I get this asked all the time. What's a good KPI to have for lead magnet registration, or how much does it cost for basically someone to grab your lead magnet and be in your marketing ecosystem? Typically, a good lead magnet, you're looking at anywhere from $2 to $3. And travel, just like everything, is very cyclical, as you can imagine. Just like if you were to run this during wave season, you would have a lower cost per lead than if you were to run this at the end of the year. But still, this should be less than $5. So if you were running this for $5 a day, you'd be getting a lead a day who is interested in what you're talking about. And what this does is this gives you context, gives them a little bit more context as to who you are, right? They understand that through this lead magnet that you're a travel agent, you can continue to hit them and educate them as to how you help them. And over time, let's say you get 30 to 50 a month. You continuously hit them with content about who you are, what you do, giving them advice, or you can say something like, here's my travel tip for the week, and you just give a travel tip and with a call to action. Like, your name of the game here is actually to build out a lead list that you can continue to market and warm up. The more warm these audiences are, the more they know you, the more likely they are to commit to working with you, because these are people who are grabbing a lead magnet for Japan, right? They know they want to go to Japan. So these are people who travel. And that's why I really like it. And after they grab the lead magnet, it takes them to the second step of this funnel, which is a free consultation. You can potentially funnel people who are already planning on going to a particular location and ask them, hey, if you need additional help with this trip, feel free to book an appointment with me. It's a free consultation, and we'll go over exactly how we as a travel advisor can help you with your trip to Japan. So it's a great low-cost way. At the end of the day, no matter what, you're getting contact information that you continuously get to hit. So it can be really, really powerful to building out your lead list. Now, on top of this, this lead magnet campaign, you can do really anything you want to it. But we're going to talk about a way that we can take concept and actually elevate it and actually charge for that lead magnet. So we can do the same thing, but we're making money. And we'll talk about why that's a risk versus why it's a benefit. And, since I brought it up, I'll talk about it now. If you have been following me on ads, or maybe you are watching this and you've already clicked on my ad, you've probably seen this funnel. This is called a low ticket Ascension funnel. So essentially what we're looking to do with this funnel is to get people to buy a low ticket sort of no brainer thing that we know is going to help someone. And then after they do that, send them into our core service. In this case, it's the Travel Agents Academy. We're selling the Travel Sales Accelerator. We're going to be able to give people key information on how they can improve their sales cycle. And after they grab it, and only after they grab it, do they get introduced to the Travel Agents Academy. What this does for us on the Academy side of things from a marketing perspective is this gets our message in front of people, and only people who are willing to take some sort of financial investment into improving their business and themselves as a business owner, which is the exact kind of target audience that we're looking for. The benefit to this is that this is getting us in front of more travel advisors. It's actually offsetting the cost of our ads, because this is actually, we're selling enough of these per day that we're actually making profit. And then we are upselling upselling, ascending to people who want to grab or go into the actual full-fledged academy. So it's a fantastic way to actually offset the cost of ads. Now, the downside to this is that if you don't have a lead magnet that people are willing to pay for, then your cost per acquisition is going to be much higher. Actually, in general, as soon as you put a payment gateway in front of your lead magnet, your cost per lead is going to go much higher. So I gave you the comparison of the Japan lead magnet. That would cost anywhere from $2 to $3 cost per lead. With this, it can be anywhere from $10 to $20. Heck, if you're doing a really bad job at marketing it, or you don't have a really good offer, it could be $40 or $50, and you're in a deficit when you're running it. So for this to be successful, you need to be running it at profit. So you're not going to be getting as many emails essentially, but you could have more qualified prospects. So here's how you would structure this for travel. You're going to take that same concept. In this case, there was the Japan example of 15 rookie mistakes to avoid before you go to Japan for the first time. And you can stack that offer, right? You can do something like, here are the top 15 best ramen shops. Here are the travel questions that all of our clients ask before they go to Japan, or here are our send-off notes that we give to clients before they go to Japan. Like, you can give them all of these things and then charge it. It can be anywhere from $9, or I should say single digits, to the teens, to the 20s. And what that'll do is people will grab your lead magnet. They'll learn more about who you are. And then on the second page, you can actually introduce who you are and how you help people. You can introduce yourself as a travel advisor and say, hey, if you're looking to go to Japan and you need a little bit more help, what we can do is we can sit down for a free consultation. I'll get to know as much as possible about what you're looking to do to go to Japan, and I can see if I can help you. Now, this free consultation is just purely a discovery call. You're taking 10 to 15 minutes to get to know more about the client or the lead, and then see if it would be beneficial for you on whether or not you would want to work with them. And then you can kind of go through the sales process. So that's the low tick to Ascension model. This is really great if you have I'll say $20 to $50 a day. If you can dial this in pretty well, you can do some really great stuff with this. I mean, you can run your piece of information and make profit just off of your piece of information before they even book an appointment with you. It's a fantastic way to offset the cost of advertising, but it requires a lot of information to kind of work, right? So this is a copy of my web funnel. This is doing really well for us right now. But what I do want to showcase is a webinar funnel. So I'm going to pause myself here. I have two variations of my web funnel. Can I not pause this right now? All right, there we go. We have two variations of the web funnel that we are A/B split testing. One with a video, one with static images, and I'll show you the differences. So this is the static image one. It just breaks down what they're going to learn inside of the webinar versus a full-length video, which details a little bit more information, but essentially covers the same bits of information that you just saw in that previous page. What these webinars are looking to achieve is they're looking to bring people onto one sales call. Essentially, you're going to go over your trip and talk about why you would want, why they would want to work with you. There's a ton of variety in a webinar and how you can structure it. This does really well with hosted group trips. If you're going out on, let's say you're going to Tanzania and you're doing a hosted safari trip and you want to bring on 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 people onto your trip, a webinar is a fantastic way to market that. And you can kind of structure it as going with, if you've ever wanted to go to safari in Tanzania and you're scared to do it alone, we'll come with our group. And it could be like-minded individuals. It could be dentists. It could be African-American women. That tends to be really popular with hosted group trips. It can be, it could be a runner's group. Like, you can take a particular angle and just really run with it and craft your webinar with that. Now, I don't want to dive too deep into the specifics of a webinar. I think that's going to be more for a different video, but your core idea here with your webinar is to have that particular offer, right? Your offer is going to be really important. You can see here that our offer is learn how 100 plus advisors are creating consistent bookings and generated over 50 million in new travel sales. And in the webinar, we talk about the formula to help you launch and grow your 7-figure travel agency. I wanted to highlight some of the web funnels that we've used inside of the academy, because some of you watching these have probably gone through these webinars and experienced them for yourself. And here's what we've learned through running ads and acquiring data personally in the academy. And then I'll tell you more about what we've seen for clients when we run webinars. So we've tested inside of the academy both an automated and a live webinar. An automated webinar is where we record it one time, and then we have it accessible to people 24/7, essentially. People can come in, they register for the webinar, and almost instantaneously they get access to the webinar. We've tested that versus a traditional live webinar, and without a doubt, a live webinar is 100% of the time more worthwhile than an automated webinar. And that's more so because you have the opportunity to answer questions live on call, take longer times to handle those questions and objections, and get people to commit to a particular action live on the call. Whereas a webinar, as much as you want to make it look live, people can read through that. So with a webinar funnel, you essentially want to have your offer right front and center. So again, let's take the example of Tanzania. Your webinar funnel is going to be something like, have you always wanted to go to Tanzania, but you feel overwhelmed with the planning? Or, hey, if you're a runner and you've always wanted to climb if you're a runner and you've always wanted to run to Mount Kilimanjaro, to the top of it, I don't know, very specific. In this webinar, we're going to talk about the fundamentals that you need to prepare for the journey, what you'll see along the way, and what it looks like to go with us. Like, you can do something like this, and you can even set a qualifier question before people ever register for your webinar. You can say, I'm going to pitch you something at this webinar. Are you okay with that? Yes or no? And if they say yes, allow them to register for the webinar. If they say no, don't let them register for the webinar, because you only want people who are going to sit there for your sales pitch, essentially. And that is sort of the structure behind a webinar. And I said I wasn't going to kind of go deep into a webinar, or the information about a webinar, but I'll say this with webinars: if you have, if you're trying to look for the best time to optimize, or the most optimized time for a web funnel, it's normally going to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in the afternoons, or like 2:00 p.m. or like 7 o'clock late evening, or I guess I should say early evening. I don't know. Those tend to be the best times. And when it comes to show up rates, half the people who register are going to show up. That's standard. That's your normal KPI industry wide. It's 50%. From there, about half of them are going to drop off throughout the entire webinar. And the longer you have people register, so let's say you're running ads on Monday and your webinar is on Thursday, and you get people signing up on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday before the webinar. The people that signed up Thursday and Wednesday are the most likely to show up, and the people that signed up on Monday, Tuesday are the least likely to show up. So you have to set up an automation to actually remind them, which again, that's a whole different beast that we'll cover in a different video. But essentially, with a web funnel for webinars, you want people to sign up for a particular date, and you don't want to give them options where you have, Tuesday within 6 days, and then Tuesday within 13 days, and then 21 days, and then 28 days. You only want to give them a 7-day window to sign up. And if they miss it, they miss it. And they can sign up for the next time the ad comes across them. Or you can say like, hey, if our time's not available, you can register and we'll let you know when our next webinar is. You can do all sorts of things when it comes to it. But the beauty of a live webinar is it's a fantastic way to sell all at once and handle objections live in front of people. So instead of doing a one-on-one sales call, you're doing one sales call to 30, 40, 50, 60 people if you market it correctly. Now, what's a good KPI for registrations for webinars versus what's a good ad budget for a webinar? Webinar ad budgets, I think, are the most forgiving because you can get a webinar registration for $5, $6, $7, $8, $9, $10. If you're really high ticket and your niche is really, really small, let's say something like ultra luxe Antarctica expeditions, your cost for registration is going to be really, really high. Also, wealthy people don't want to sit down and listen to a webinar. So a good KPI for your webinar is probably going to be like $10 cost per lead. So factor that in. If you're running your ads at $20 a day for 7 days, that's $140. So it's 14 people registering for your webinar. It's a decent KPI. At all said and done, 50% of them will probably show up. That's seven of them. And a good conversion rate for a webinar is about 10%. So you can start to see where if you kind of give a baseline understanding of where your numbers are, you can reverse engineer how much you need to spend to actually hit your KPI and be profitable. This is really important. So this is a good, decent way to start building up your sales opportunities. And as you build out your brand recognition on social media, webinar is a really fantastic way to leverage that brand recognition, because you can say like, hey, we're hosting a webinar on going to Tanzania, and we're going to be live Tuesday, April, blah, 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 at 7 o'clock, register today, and you can just hammer that and market it like crazy. The downside of webinars is that if you don't have people signing up and you only have like a handful, it can be the likelihood of them converting is pretty low. People really do have like a group mindset. If you have multiple people that are on your webinar and communicating and being active in the chat, people are really going to be influenced by that. And so the more people you have on a webinar, the better, obviously, for your chances to convert, but also just because of like the group mentality, or like herd mentality, essentially, is the psychological term for it. So those are the cost benefit analysis that you need to think about with a webinar. I think for a lot of people who don't have a massive budget, this is why I like having a lead magnet funnel or a low ticket to Ascension, because I think they're a lot more forgiving for your ad budget, and the likelihood of you getting a return is much higher with a limited ad budget. Webinars are, I would say, pretty mid-tier ad budget requirement. Again, these do really, really, really well, though, with hosted group tours. These kill. And I know agents personally who have grown to 7 figures, and all they do, the only thing they do, are webinars for hosted group trips. They do one probably 2 to 3 times a month for a particular hosted group, and they have as many slots as they have available. And once they're filled, they move on to the next hosted group trip and sell the crap out of that. That's what they do, and it works really well if you have it dialed in. And again, it takes a considerable chunk of money to get a good rate of return. I'll say this too before we jump into this last web funnel, that a pretty standard return on ad spend, or ROAS, is 3 to 5. That's a pretty average ROAS. With services, like in the travel industry, we're technically a service-based industry. Our opportunity for a much higher return on ad spend is definitely there, because if you sell, let's say, 5 Antarctica cruises, that's on average probably going to be like $50,000 between those 5. That's probably a little bit high. I'll say $25,000 to $40,000, and if you're spending $5,000 to get those 5 clients, that's a pretty high return on ad spend, right? I think everyone would be really happy if you've spent $5,000 and got $40,000 back. Everyone would be really happy with an 8-to-1 return on ad spend. But these are expectations that you have to sort of ballpark and set for yourself when you run ads. These are super important. Now, this last web funnel that I want to showcase to you as soon as I find it is a booked appointment web funnel. So let me pause this. This web funnel I've run for a really, really long time. Before I launched the Travel Agents Academy, I was helping travel agents with marketing services, and this was the web funnel that I've used. This has generated a lot of cash flow for me in Apex, and has created a lot of opportunity for me and my businesses. And this is a booked appointment web funnel. This is my standard web funnel. This is not going to look pretty. I have tested and tried to make this look better, but every single time, the more simple it is, the better it's performed. So it's ended at this. It has a really high conversion rate. It's like 14%, 13, 14% conversion rate. really, really high. I think the average conversion rate for services is like 5 to 6%. So it's nearly double. It performed really, really well. It's mostly because of the offer, not so much anything else, I would say. But who knows? I've tested the offer and numbers actually stay the same. So with all that said, what's a booked appointment funnel? Why should we have this? And what's a clear budget for this? So let me preface this by saying that a booked appointment funnel is very expensive to run. You're essentially looking for people who have a pain point and you're calling them out and you're saying, we have the solution. We have the mechanism that's going to solve your pain point. And all you need to do is book an appointment with us, have a conversation with us, and we will showcase to you that we have the solution to your pain point. There's a lot that you can do to make this web funnel better, but a good standard book appointment web funnel, I would say at a minimum is $50 a day. Sweet spot to start out is $100 a day. I've scaled many web funnels at $50 a day. When I started this web funnel, I ran this web funnel at $50 a day. I was getting $25 cost per booked appointment. And over time, it grew to $30. Even when I was spending a lot more money than $50 a day, it rose. That's perfectly normal. But with a booked appointment funnel, essentially what you're looking to do is you're calling out the pain point of your target audience. You have an offer. You're detailing how exactly you're going to help them, but you're asking them to take the step to meet with you, book an appointment with you. And I always recommend folks to have some sort of qualification in place or a survey. In this case, what I've done in the past is ask them very specifically, are you at this budget point? Because I know that when we get to the sales point, if they're not making more than $100,000 a year, we're not going to be able to help them because they're not going to be able to afford it. And I have, I don't want to, I don't want people who can't afford it, right? So having a qualification process in place can make it so that we're only getting people who are qualified to have a conversation with us. In the travel space, what this looks like is having a qualification survey where you ask them 4 questions or some variation of this. You ask them about budget without asking them about budget. My favorite way to qualify people is asking them this. What's the most important thing for your trip? Is it saving you money? Is it making lasting memories? Is it experiencing the culture? Or is it having a luxury experience, right? If they say money is the most important aspect to their trip, I disqualify them and say that we can't help them, because if money is the focal point, they're going to be looking for things that are just a few $1,000s, or they're not going to be looking at doing anything that's going to be worthwhile for our time. And what happens with these events that we are having Facebook track, like a booked appointment, over time, Facebook is getting more familiar with what we're deeming as important. And so Facebook will do much better over time with getting us in front of more like-minded individuals. I'll give you a peek behind the curtain as to how the algorithm works. So Facebook has thousands of data attribution points on each and every single one of us. I'm speaking specifically on Facebook, but this rings true for Google, TikTok, Pinterest, Snapchat, every single one of these ad platforms, Twitter, all of them. Facebook is going to know whether or not you're going to be more likely to take a specific action, whether it's click the ad or purchase a thing or book an appointment or fill out a form. It has these data attribution points where it can see that you have historically contacted the advertiser and have gone through their sales cycle. And it does the same thing for our clients. So it's able to see all these people who have seen ads on Facebook and get us in front of more people who are going to take the action that we're looking for, and over time get us more and more and more of that. So a booked appointment funnel can be really, really great, but the back end services are really, really important to this funnel. Automations in terms of reminding them when their appointment is, giving them more information that they show up so that they show up informed and prepared to make a decision. All these things are so important to really all these funnels, but especially so with a booked appointment funnel. And so I wanted to highlight these 4 funnels because these have done really, really well. I've done this in travel before, this particular funnel, and we were actually averaging about an $8 cost per lead. It was doing really, really well. And so it's entirely possible that you can do this, but the more money you spend on advertising, the faster you're going to get data to understand what's working well and what's not working. And I realize that this can be a lot for a lot of different people. And so I wanted to take the last few minutes of this video and encourage you that if you test things and get an understanding of how to read the data, you're going to be able to crack how to market in front of your target audience, because your target audience exists. It's just a matter of, can you market in front of them to get them to work with you? Can you warm up your cold audience to such a degree that they want to work with you and only you? All of these things matter. And sometimes we need help. And if you need help and you're looking for additional assistance on these things, on these aspects to your business, whether it's improving your sales, improving your marketing, improving your web funnel so you know that it's doing what it needs to be doing, then I want to encourage you to join the Travel Agents Academy. What we do is we actually work with all of our students and help them in live Q&As address particular problems that they are having with their campaigns, with their marketing, with SEO, with travel, whatever it might be. We give them the same experience that they're looking for so that they can actually grow their business and get resolution so they can focus on what they do best, travel. If that's you, click the link below and join. I will say that we have all of these web funnels inside of the Academy ready for you to use. So all you need to do is switch out the brand assets for your particular business and swap out the messaging so that it fits for your particular business, and they're all ready to go. All the back end stuff, the web funnel side things, the front end, all of these things are ready to go.